in 1874 went bankrupt the first time.
Okay.
It was reorganized, went bankrupt in 03, went bankrupt in 1911, and in each time the creditors demanded more collateral. In 1913, basically what happened, and what I call the creditors took over the corporation and basically became a management company managing a bankrupt corporation. And this thing is so convoluted that if you start digging, I used to say it was like peeling an onion. And here a while ago it dawned on me that when you peel an onion, each onion peel has a skin on top, meat in the middle, and another skin on the bottom. So you didn't really get all the way to the bottom of the silly thing. So that's where it's at. Then again in 33, when they manipulated everything around, took the gold and all that stuff, it was just another step.
Did that answer your question?
Not really.
What
no.
do you try again?
Sorry,
I'll see
I'm sorry.
No, ask again. I'll see if I can get.
Okay, because what I'm trying to ascertain is these declarations of bankruptcy. Were they declarations? Were they resolutions? I mean, how did the bankruptcy status come into?
So, like, in other words, did the people get together and unanimously declare we're bankrupt?
Or did
we gotta
Congress
start
do
over?
it? I mean, what did the corporation? What's the evidence of it? I guess is what I'm asking.
The corporate United States.
Right.
Okay, the creditors made demands.
And they couldn't cover their
They
notes?
couldn't cover those demands, and then under bankruptcy, they made a new agreement and added collateral.
So those agreements are a part of the congressional record. They're part of a corporate.
They are political in nature as opposed to legal in nature.
Okay.
Because it was
Okay.
between countries as opposed to
Okay.
between individuals. There was no bankruptcy court like you
Okay.
think of that an
Okay.
individual or a business would go through. It was a political bankruptcy where the president, who was the executive power, the executive of the corporation, made a political statement to the public, stating that the United States was bankrupt. FDR did it at the Geneva Convention.
Okay, that's
In
what I'm looking
1933,
for.
he
His
declared the
statements
United
of-
States as bankrupt. And because he was the chief executive, that statement coming from that person alone was enough to prove that it was so. There may have been congressional resolutions to back it up, but it really came from the executive, and it was a political.
House Resolution 193 and Public Law 1079, 1933.
So
Thank you.
so this situation predicated a renegotiation.
Right.
And I think it's been said, or I've read or heard, that prior to the Civil War, that the creditors wanted more collateral, and the South said, you're not going to take our land for collateral, we're not going to be engaged in this. Is that accurate? Or
That's accurate. The creditors came to the U.S. and said, we want more collateral. The only thing that was available was the public lands in the southern states. Lincoln went to the southern senators and said, we've got to have this, put it up. They said,
right,
Forget about it.
right,
sorry, bye.
right.
So this is
No,
what's behind the
Civil War.
Civil
These
War there?
loans and agreements and all of this the loans and agreements that were executed between the executive branch of our country at the time are foreign agreements with foreign creditors that.
Are these available?
I don't know.
Well, let's look at it this way. The United States corporation is a private, for-profit military corporation. You think that those private corporate documents are available for you and I? I doubt it.
No.
Well, then why isn't this, why that just makes another point that I can understand why we, if we know that these documents exist, why we can't move forward with civil fraud cases right and left against this.
It is fraud.
Because
It
the
is
courts,
fraud.
the courts that we still have been hoodwinked into believing are valid are their courts.
Yeah, the
Right.
corporations,
Yeah,
and
that's
those
true.
judges are employees
They
in the sole
control
jurisdiction
everything.
of the federal
So,
government.
okay.
And they have the guns.
You guys are
Line-
right on that
Section
aspect.
8, line 17.
There's
Not to
already,
exceed
there's
10
already a
miles
less
per hour.
penance
That's
filed
it.
in the world court.
Washington DC.
That's why I've always wondered that
Obama is a
DC
town-
thing,
Hillary
okay?
Clinton is a town crier for foreign policy. She has no jurisdiction over internal sovereign state policy.
So.
If you read the Constitution, it's real and it's very interpretable.
Oh,
It's
I
just-
agree with that,
people
but well,
don't
I
take the
guess I just
time.
don't understand why we can't move forward. And so is this what we're actually doing with this
Why
republic?
aren't we bringing them up
Yep.
on war,
Yes.
on
Yep.
Yes.
traitor,
So if you want an answer to that
Yes.
question,
Fraud,
grand
not a
juries
col-
brought charges up on,
collusion, RICO,
Yes.
sorry,
grand juries brought charges up on 3,000 people.
organized crime.
The de jure grand
The
jury?
de jure grand juries brought charges up on 3,000 people. And every county sheriff in this county of, or in the state of Iowa, and every supposed county attorney was notified. And so were the rest of them around the country. This is what we're
So all we're lacking
progressing,
is bodies and
we're
enforcement.
progressing slowly ahead.
Okay.
And we're
good with
getting
that.
more and more clout. And the more people that get on board,
That's the key,
And-
right there.
and,
Yeah, we've gotta
and
have-
the
Yeah, we
more
gotta have more
get
people
this
and more
under
juries.
control, and the more the counties take effect, you know, and take over. The county sheriff is the strongest policing individual in the country. And there are some darn good ones out there.
Right.
And some
There
bad
are
ones.
also some that, you know, are using the example of, you know, the movie theater Southern Georgia Sheriff. We've, I think, got one of those at home. Where they are, you know, they understand they have power. They don't understand what. They don't understand what they're really supposed to be doing or what. But slowly, as we get more and more people aboard and get more and more counties functioning, we've got the state level
Totally
functioning.
makes sense. I mean, I totally see it, but by based on common law, rules of evidence that a de jure grand jury could invoke. That's, I guess, where I'm wondering where a lot of this
Well,
evidence.
let me
Miles
make something
from.
real clear to you. We've got code books, we've got statutes, we've got all this stuff, right? And let me explain to you very simply, that is all fluff.
Right, right.
And what's really going on is,
Yeah, you gotta get through all that, or get rid of
Well,
all of it.
yeah, but just, it's put out there to confuse you. The 1946 Administrative Procedure Act was passed, and from that comes the federal rules of civil procedure, and the state rules of civil procedure and criminal procedure both come from the federal. And that's what these courts are operating on.
Right,
This is administrative procedure. It's not law.
right.
It's
It comes from an,
Right.
you know,
legal pretends to be law.
you know, so you go out there and you get a list of their rules.
But they
You
won't matter in
can't
a de
stop
jure
dribbling
or a
and
de
start
jure.
over again. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's just a bunch of rules.
Ruler's law.
Huh?
Ruler's law.
Yeah, that's.
They just
that's
make the rules.
title.
Yeah.
Instead
And
of,
then the guy standing there with a taser and a gun.
And these
Exactly.
courts are actually for-profit corporations that are
Oh,
listed
yeah.
Dun and Bradstreet.
Yeah.
You can look them
Yeah.
up. And the CAFA report for the judges, their retirement funds are all tied to the banking industries and various other industries that they are standing in judgment. They're supposed to rule, they're supposed to protect the people.
Well, see,
They're
you
not
sound like
supposed-
Bob Schultz. And here's the thing, is that that's all great, you're all right. The only thing is you have no standing in their courts.
Right.
We have no standing in their
Unless
courts.
you deny them the
That's why you never-
jurisdiction.
Well, yeah, but see, we're not powerful enough to do that yet. Now, it's starting to happen.
Some of us are in jail and we deny them jurisdiction.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's little victories here and there, but where the real victories are gonna come is when we get a few million people signed up in the Republic and these grand juries in every county, yes.
So the point is signing up.
Yes.
We do not have any guarantee that we'll be successful, but if we don't get enough people, it guarantees that we will not.
That is a
They'll
very
mow
good point.
over us.
That's a very good point.
So we would invite you to sign up.
Right now, Paddington, right
Yeah,
there.
we've got
All the
forms.